In today's video, I'm gonna break down what I have seen over the past 10 years that separates those guys that get very successful and very good results from those guys who go nowhere. If that sounds good, my name is Todd. I've hit on a few thousand women at this point, and I've taught so many men just like you how to do the same. Let's dive in. Okay, let's break this down. So what I want to cover in today's video are the differences I see between the guys that get very good at this and the guys that get nowhere, okay? And this comes from years of working on this area of life and also seeing what has happened over time, like what guys have gotten very, very good and what guys have gone absolutely nowhere, and years later, they're stuck in the same bullshit where they have terrible results, women don't want them, and their lives just suck, versus those guys that are really have like gone from not good to like getting very, very good at this. Okay, this is gonna sound so dumb. When I say this, it's gonna sound so dumb, but just trust me, okay? Like, as I peel it back, you'll see. Okay, the number one thing I see that is a difference between guys that get very, very good and the guys that don't is the guys that look for the positive, okay? And this sounds so subtle. And this is something that's trainable too. So most guys do not operate this way. Like 99% of guys do not operate this way, but the 1% of guys that do operate this way get very, very good results, okay? The number one thing that I see is the guys that are positive, okay? And what I mean by this is you have two guys. You have one guy that goes in to like hit on a girl and comes back, and all he can talk about is how terrible it was, how it didn't go well, and point out everything that went wrong. You've got a different type of guy. And again, almost nobody works this way, but it's trainable, it's learnable. Is a guy that goes in, and when he comes out, he's like, yeah, like some of the stuff was tough, but like this was really good, and like this was good, and like the fact that I stepped in was good, okay? The difference between these two is one guy is just only looking at basically what went wrong, and the other guy is looking for what went well, for like what was positive in the interaction, okay? And it's a very small thing, but it makes a huge difference in your results, okay? Because what happens is the one that is always seeing what isn't working never sticks with it. They don't make it very far. Versus the guy that is looking for what went well, that's celebrating the wins, that is looking like, well, this didn't go that well, but like this went well, and I think if I do this, then I can get better, okay? Those are the guys that get very, very, very good at this area of life, are the guys that look for something that's positive. Now, this is a trainable thing, and most people do not work this way, and this is something that I teach when I am working with a guy to coach him to get him very, very good. Okay, there's something called a self-reinforcing belief, where like confirmation bias, self-reinforcing belief, where when you think something's true, you tend to look for evidence of it, okay? So it's a very simple thing. All you do is you tell the guy, you go, I love how no matter what happens, you always try to look for what's positive. I love that how no matter what happens, you're always trying to look for what's positive. Saying that to a guy, like to a guy that I'm teaching, causes him to like shift and adjust, like, oh yeah, I am a guy that like looks for what's positive, okay? Saying it to yourself, right? So saying, I love how I'm a guy that really does try to look for what's positive in a situation, acknowledges the things that, you know, weren't that good, but generally speaking, looks for the things that are positive in a situation. Saying that to yourself will actually cause you to start to shift into this very adaptive behavior that will make you very, very good. So even just saying, I love how I'm the type of guy that tends to try to look for what's positive and what I can learn out of a situation. Saying that to yourself will cause yourself to try to adhere to that identity, and it will be a reinforcing belief. So when I take guys out and I teach them, I'll say, man, I love how even though you acknowledge what didn't work, you really try to look for what's positive and like what went well. That's really cool. Hey, even though I love that you're a guy that even though you acknowledge what didn't go that well, you really try to look for like what did go well and like what's positive. That's awesome. And now that person's going to start to try to work that way and like reinforce that identity, which basically means that person's going to spiral upwards because they're always looking for what's positive in pretty much every single situation. So even you, and it's cool that you're watching these videos to learn, even you just saying to yourself, I love how I'm the type of guy that, yes, I acknowledge what didn't go that well, but I really tend and try to look for what's positive out of an action or out of a situation. You saying that, and I even say this to myself, I have like a little journal, and I say, I love how positive I am and how I focus on the positives. Like, I love how I'm the type of person that focuses on what's positive and like tries to like really get the most out of whatever it is that they're doing. That's a self-reinforcing belief that over time causes a person to be very, very good. Now, I really have to say, do not take this lightly, okay? Like the fact that you're a guy that does this, a guy that goes out and does this, every interaction he goes into, he comes out of like a little bit stronger, a little bit more energy, a little bit more oomph. Like his energy goes up every single time because he's looking for the positives. He's looking for what he can celebrate in every single interaction, in every single action. He's looking for what he can celebrate. That guy is going to have an upward spiral. Now, most people, like almost all people, have a downward spiral. They go into an interaction, it doesn't go well, and they go, oh, that fucking sucked. Girls fucking suck. This place fucking sucks. They go in another one, what I fucking tell you. These girls ain't shit. This place sucks. That person's going down. Like every time that they take an action, they're going one direction. And it's not the direction you want to go. They're going to go down. You want to go up, okay? Now, like I said, almost nobody works this way. This is like the number one secret trick of the trade, which is like getting the person to make it an upward spiral. The fact that they take action is an upward spiral. This is something that not only do most people not do, but they don't even know that it's a skill set. Like the fact that you're even watching this and you're learning this is huge. Like this is such a big advantage for you, okay? The fact that you're even hearing about it and the fact that you're learning like, oh, this is a skill set. It's not that I'm just born positive or I'm just born negative. No, no, no. Pretty much everyone is negative on this. Almost no one focuses on the positive. The people that understand to focus on the positive get very, very good, and it's a skill set that you can learn. So just saying to yourself, I love how I tend to focus on the positive and focus on what I can learn. Like I said, on a given night out, when we're going out and we're trying to get it popping, if you will, when we're out, the guy that's like celebrating the thing and like looking for the positive, his night is going up. Every time he goes into an interaction, every time he steps forward, every time he takes an action, he is like, yo, that's awesome that I stepped up. You know, like it's cool that I did that. I thought that like that girl was like pretty cool about things. Like that joke was pretty good. I liked how I did this. And like they're celebrating every action they're taking, they're celebrating and they're going up. That is true in the micro on a single night when you're out, but it's true on the macro. Like you add that up over days, weeks, months, years, and everything that person's doing, they're looking for the positive. They're not ignoring when things go wrong, but most of us already have that hardware. Our brains are basically looking for what's wrong. Like that's kind of how our brains are built. So you don't even need to worry about that. Your brain will already do that. Your energy's on the other side where you're looking for and celebrating any action that you're taking. Like the fact that you're even watching this video is a win. It's awesome that you're doing that. The fact that you even try to get better at this area of life is awesome. It's a win that you're even doing that. The fact that when you go out, you do step up to a girl is awesome. That means you're a winner. You're taking action. The fact that you took the action is the win. That's what the win is. That is creating that positive upward spiral. And that is the number one thing that I see that separates those guys that get very, very good at this from the people that go nowhere. Their life goes nowhere and their results suck, and you come back years later and they're still mired in the same shit versus like actually spinning it up. Okay. Second thing is the winner effect. Okay. And this comes from one of my mentors, Owen Cook. He talks about this all the time. He's the man. He's awesome. Like, love that guy. Winner effect is the fact that your brain turns on when you start to celebrate things. Like when you shift your attention to the positive things in any situation, it tells your brain it's okay to open up resources, and your brain opens up. Like you become more responsive, more resourceful, more attractive. You get more energy because you're tapping into the winner effect. That's part of what we do. This is another amazing practice. That's part of what we do when we're out. Every time you do anything and you step up, you're the man for doing it. This also comes from Owen Cook. 1,000 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10 interaction or a 5 out of 10 interaction. It's 1,000 out of 10. The fact that you took the action is the win. Like, that's dope, homie. Most people don't do shit. They go out and they don't talk to anyone. They don't step up. They stay in the same group and they don't do shit and they don't get anywhere. The fact that you even try to do it is the win. That is so dope. That's awesome. So the other thing here is when you're out and you're going from group to group and like you're working it, is to kick on the dopamine, kick on the winner effect by focusing on what's positive, by celebrating the fact that you took any action at all. It's not setting the bar up here where the bar's so high up, like for most guys are like, if I don't walk over, if she doesn't immediately accept me, if she doesn't get down on her knees and then just start fucking sucking me off and then like takes me home immediately, then it's a failure. Yo, that's an impossible standard. You want to basically celebrate every single action you take. The fact that you step up, the fact that you took the action is the win. That's awesome. The fact that you focus on the positive and that you celebrate is the win. That's awesome. That's an amazing action. Most guys do not do that, okay? That is kicking on your winner effect. It's causing when you go out and you step and you step and you step and you celebrate every time, like, that's awesome. I'm the man for stepping up. That makes you the man for stepping up. You're not the man because women like you or don't like you. You're the man because you have courage and you step up. That stepping up is the win. The action itself is the win. That's what makes you the man. That is what builds your energy as a man. That courage, that taking action, that stepping up, that focusing on the positive is what will cause you to be in an upward spiral, not only over the course of the night, but over the course of time, and you will become very good at this area of life. Okay, next up, autocorrection. This is another thing. Most guys don't do this because they're like, well, dude, Todd, you're being delusional. Like, I need to look at what's not working, bro. I need to be focused on what's not working, dude. If I don't focus on what's not working, I'll never get better. So your theory's bunk, Todd. It's bullshit, okay? That's not actually how this works. That's how most people think, but that's not actually what works, okay? Most of the things that you aren't that good at, especially in this area of life, will auto-correct by focusing on what's positive. By kicking on the winner effect and celebrating every action, your brain opens up. It gives you more bandwidth, And almost every single thing that you do that isn't really that optimal will autocorrect. Not every single one. There are some things that like you kind of need someone else, like a coach or somebody else, to like look and see. But generally speaking, the autocorrect, like that will autocorrect itself, because most of the mistakes that you make come from scarcity. They come from feeling nervous. They come from your brain shutting down. They come from the fact that your body and your system is telling you, and I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it, for most people, because they're so negative, their body, their system, their wiring isn't thinking that they're a winner. It's thinking that they're a loser. It's keeping them down at the bottom. It's turning off their brain and causing them to not have access and bandwidth to their mental resources. So just by focusing on what's positive and celebrating everything and turning on the winner effect, almost all of those sticking points will autocorrect. Like most of them, just by going out and celebrating the action, focusing on the positive, counterintuitively will actually fix most of the stupid shit that we do that makes it where women don't want anything to do with us. Like, it will autocorrect pretty much all of it, okay? Because again, most of your mistakes are coming from the fact that your brain is shut down and you're like, you don't have the bandwidth and capacity to be like in relation and feeling and like sensing and moving and being calibrated. A lot of calibration comes down to the fact that the person's bandwidth and brain is shut down. Like they're closed in, you know what I mean? And they think, well, I'm not calibrated, I'm like stuck. And I'm like, yes, there are exceptions to this, but like for most people, the reason they're not calibrated isn't because they need to focus and micro control more of what they do. It's that they actually need to turn on their brain. If they focus on the positive in most things, and if they focus on the winner effect, like trying to celebrate every action and celebrating the fact, that will autocorrect pretty much most of the stupid shit that they're doing, because it's opening up their brain. It's giving them bandwidth and resources to actually see the play and see what's happening. They can't see it from this. Like they're like this, like most people are like closed down like this and they can't see it. And then you try to like show them a mirror or like give them a sticking point. It's like they can't hear it. Like they don't have the bandwidth for it. Like they're like, bro, I'm like in cope. I'm barely able to do anything. Meanwhile, the people that work on the skill set of focusing on the positive and work on celebrating the action and turning on their winner effect opens up their aperture, opens up their brain, opens up their energy, and gets them calibrated. Like it fixes pretty much almost everything for that guy. Now, there are some sticking points where having somebody else take a look at what we're doing and pointing out some small tweaks that we can make here and there is very beneficial. But when your hose is all kinked up 9 ways from Sunday because your brain shut down, your self-talk is like super negative, and you're like feeling nervous and feeling tight, at that point, like, we got to get the hose unkinked. Like we got to generally like work. And this is what really helps unkink the hose, is focusing on the positive, celebrating and turning on the winner effect, opening up that person's brain so that they're getting resources and able to like read the play, and allowing most of the autocorrection to work. Then at that point, when the person isn't so closed down, when they're not in cope so deeply, when they're more in thriving and when they're more open, then at that point, you can look at a couple of small tweaks, but like the hose needs to get unkinked first. Like if you got 40 kinks in your hose, coming in and analyzing and giving the person critical feedback won't work. Like they won't have the bandwidth to even take it. If you want to get someone very, very good at this, it's focusing on these two. It's allowing the autocorrection that's built into your system. How cool is that? Like, how cool is it that just by you doing it and focusing on this, most of the things will be solved? Like, you'll get very, very good by just focusing on this, okay? Next up, so the sticking points. When I coach and I teach and I train guys, sticking points is something that I leave for the very end. Like, most of the work is like opening up that person, getting their personality to express, getting them to like be able to like work and like work the room, and getting that to like getting them to open up, okay? And like getting their energy up. That's like, the 90%. At that point, there's some small sticking points, right? So for every guy, there's going to be a couple of small things that they're doing that if you change and you tweak now that you've opened up the hose, will help them become very, very attractive as men, okay? And I always forget to say this. I have a free course below where I break down all of my best information, everything I've learned from years of working on this and from teaching other guys. I break everything that I know down step by step for free below. Free link below. Free course below. Can't talk. Okay. The elephant and the rider analogy. I don't know if you've heard this before, but basically the way our brains work, an easy way to think about it is like your prefrontal cortex, your logic, your decision making is like the rider, and the elephant is the emotional, right? Like it's the DNA, it's the emotional, it's the wiring, and sitting on top is the very small, rational, logic rider, okay? So the way that most people try to get good at this area of life is by focusing on the rider and not the elephant. They don't focus on the bigger thing that's actually driving the result. They think it's the little guy upstairs that's the rational, okay? But the elephant and the rider analogy, everything here is built for the elephant. Like the elephant is the real thing that's driving all of the results. It's the emotions of the person. You look at someone who doesn't have good results or they don't have what they want, it's not for a lack of information, especially not in like 2025 or 2026. Information is everywhere, okay? That's not what's happening. The reason most people aren't successful isn't because of a lack of information. Like I always say, there's like, if it was information, then everyone would have $1 billion, every woman would basically be into them, and they'd have like fucking six-pack abs. Because how to do it isn't the problem. It's actually, in the elephant and the rider analogy, it's the elephant. It's actually getting that person to like get in touch with the emotions and shift the things that will allow them to change and create the result. So even in this area with women, most guys, probably yourself, think that by getting more information, they'll get better at it. But it's not true. The issue isn't even the motivation. It isn't the rider. It's the elephant. It's these things that sound so stupid. You're like, oh, really cool, Todd. That sounds like just a whatever dumbass thing. It's like, no. It's literally everything. It's literally the entire sauce. Like, it is what gets a guy to be very, very, very effective in this area of life. It's focusing on that man's energy. It's focusing on that man's power, his energy, his emotionality, getting his mind and his energy to open up. That is what makes a guy very, very attractive. As a coach and a guy that teaches other guys, I'm focused on trying to turn that on. You have it in you. Every guy, believe it or not, already has it inside. It's just, it's all kinked up. The job of a guy to like help you get really good at this area is like help you loosen up, get the kinks out, and like get your natural personality expressing. Open up your range. Open up your ability to push your energy out. Open up your brain and your energy by focusing on the part that actually drives all of the results, not the logical part. Now, I'm not saying that there's no logic in life, and I'm not saying that the linear brain and the logic is bad in any way, shape, or form. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece, but it's already covered. You know what I mean? Like the brain will already look for the things that aren't working. That's already done. All of our effort is on the switch. It's getting your brain to switch the other way, and that is what turns women on. That is what women are responding to. Your logical part where you're like, burp, 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 burp. No woman is like, they're not going to be interested in that. It's when you're like, yo, what up? How we doing? What's popping? Like, it's pushing your energy out, and that's coming from these things. Like I said, these videos are very ranty, very, very sorry. I know I've said it before. Very, very ranty. Free course below. I break everything down step by step. these videos, like I said, are me trying to kind of get the information into you slowly over time. Todd, you say the same thing so many times. It's because slowly the repetition is getting it into your brain of what is actually effective, because our society is telling you something different. They're pushing a different thing. They're saying if you don't have that suit and you don't have that car and you don't have that watch, then you ain't shit and no one will want you. And it's bullshit. It's a lie. But you're hearing that every single day. So in these videos, I try to take time to just yell at you repeatedly what's actually true, that you can win, that deep down you are an attractive man. You don't need any of that other shit. All you need is to actually focus on the positive. Give yourself the permission. Celebrate the fact that you're taking any action, and you will actually autocorrect and you will get very, very, very good at this. Okay, that is it from me for this evening. I hope that helped. Todd out. I will be back.